So I was just notified that we can't have a pet. We just got this cat this last summer from, well, it was a stray. It was around here starving to death. Before I get into that, I want to show you that we canned some turkey. So we bought a big turkey right after Thanksgiving. I think it was $30 for like 23 or 24 pounds. Now we spend the same price, $30, for 30 pounds of chicken. There's so much bone in the chicken that the turkey, even though it weighed less, had just as much meat in it as the 30 pounds of chicken. I've always wanted to can turkey. I've talked about it many times because they're cheaper after Thanksgiving. I don't know if that's going to be the case now. I mean, apparently turkey is going up way high this now. A lot of these stores brought the price down for this Thanksgiving, even though they were taking a loss on it. But I always wanted to do it. I used to buy a turkey and put it in the freezer, you know, after Thanksgiving. Put it in the freezer for the next Thanksgiving because it was always cheaper after Thanksgiving. So we bought it, canned it up. Canned's just like chicken. I mean, so you just use the chicken recipe. It's actually, it's not even a chicken recipe, it's a poultry recipe. So turkey, duck, chicken. Now I tell you, I really would like to make videos about canning. They're easy to make. I like talking about it, but my viewers just don't like them. I made a video a while back where I was talking about, I didn't even talk about how to can or anything. I was just talking about canning in itself. And the watch time was just really bad. I don't even think it hit 50% view duration, and watch time is critically important on YouTube. And why make a video if nobody's gonna watch it? It doesn't make any sense. So just want to make videos people want to watch. But I think canning is just like the best thing in the world. I mean, it's a great hobby. Lots of men just don't want to watch it. And my channel's primarily men. I know that women are going to say, I'm a female. I mean, I do have females, I know that. But I think like 75% of the people on my channel are 50 or older and are males. Talk about this cat that we got. People keep telling me that I should get a dog to protect the chickens. Well, I just found out you can't even have a dog. I had no idea that this was even a thing, that they could restrict your pet ownership. But when we got here, when we moved here, shortly after we got here, there was this little orange cat that came around. It was a tomcat. It was a boy. He just would not come up to me. He would let me feed him. He hung around the house. When we first met, he was down there at the camper. We were in the camper, and it was really cold. And I wanted to bring him in, but he just wouldn't let me get near him. So he slept under the overhang. He got pretty sick. I don't know what was wrong with him, but I couldn't get to him. He wouldn't let me touch him. He got pretty sick, and he just stayed in that overhang of the camper outside. I made him a bed so he could sleep in it, and he just lay there for days. Well, after he got better, he left. It was middle of winter, and he didn't come back. I was sure that something happened to him, or he died from his illness, whatever it was. I did a video. I was working on the water tank, and I just got done working on the water tank, and I started talking about the cat, that I wanted to let everybody know the cat was gone. And I was sad about it, and I mean, what are you gonna do? I mean, the cat was gone. And no sooner did I say the cat was gone, he showed up down there underneath the cedar tree, and I had this big shocked look on my face, showed everybody on the camera, they showed back up. Well, that spring, I started building this overhang here, and the bridge, I built a bridge, and he was starting to get closer and closer to us all the time. Well, as I was building this, he was sleeping where I'm standing now. He would just sunbathe right here on the bridge. He was letting me get really close to him. I couldn't pet him. I really felt like he was becoming a pet. Shortly after that, a female came around, and he was chasing her around. I couldn't catch her, but that was the last time I saw him. He chased off a female, and I never saw him again. I suspect that people were trapping the animals around here. We had a lot of raccoons, and I was trapping the raccoons and possums also. But I could tell the population of raccoons and possums was decreasing more significantly than what I was doing. You know, I was relocating them. Well, then that cat went missing, and the cat it was chasing. I didn't see either one of them ever again. So I figured somebody was trapping them. I mean, what's the odds of all of them getting ran over by a car somewhere? Didn't think much more about it. I was sad and then got over it. Well, this last spring, another cat showed up, and this one was an adolescent. I don't even think it's reached adulthood yet. It got trapped in my trap, my possum trap, my live trap. this one's a female. I let her go, but she kept coming around. And I talked to Carolyn, I said, hey, can we feed it? Well, one day, it was up here on the porch. It's kind of crowded right now because we just got done canning, so everything's a mess. Well, we have our lard, bucket of lard right here. Again, big mess because we just got done canning. But we have this lard here. And that cat was trying to get the lid off on the lard. Well, I was trying to get the lard away from the cat. Well, I still had some canned cat food. For the other cat, I had like 2 cans of it. So I opened it up and gave it to her. Well, she never left again. She stayed around this porch area the entire time. Well, I could tell there was something wrong with her. You know, she had ear mites. So we bought some ear mite medicine and different things. She would let us pick her up. She was kind of skittish. Carolyn started calling her Skitty. But she would let us pick her up. She would let us pet her. It was real friendly, but she always laid somewhere around here. And then it was hot during the summer, of course, so she'd go into the house in the summer. But always laid on the bridge in the evening, and I would come up and pet her. We tried to treat her ears. Of course, she didn't like it. And we were really worried that she would run off because we were irritating her ears. Well, we got the ear mites taken care of. But then we could tell she got an ear infection. So we bought this stuff, and I can't pronounce it right, so just deal with it. It's probably the only word I struggle to talk about with off-grid lifestyle, but it's clotted silver or something like that. So we put that in her food, just a little drop of that in her food and in her ears. And within a couple days, her ear infection was gone, and she's up and playing, running around, having a good time, and venturing off. While we were walking about this time, we started nightly walks, trying to get some exercise. And it was quite obvious that she did not like us to be gone. She didn't want us out of her sight. So the first time she had ever left this property since we met her was when we started walking. She followed us over there. Well, I tried to get her to pick her up so she wouldn't run out in the street and get ran over or something. She started to run back to the house. I'd get a little closer, she'd run back a little closer to the house. I had to follow her all the way home. Well, this has been the routine with her. If I go out in the woods and make a video now, she comes out in the woods, and I have to follow her through her path. Now, my path is all cut. You know, we got it mowed down so I can walk through it. But I have to take her path, and she does the same thing. Walks a little bit, I have to catch up with her, and then she sprints ahead a little bit. So she doesn't want us out of her sight. Well, then one evening, it got down to freezing temperatures. She won't come in the house. We'd bring her, throughout the summer, we'd bring her in the house, but she'd go right to the door and start meowing just as loud as she could meow. So we'd let her out. So I got up that morning, and she was just shivering cold. So I thought, I'm gonna bring her in the house, and she's just gonna scream. Carolyn was asleep, so I was a little bit worried about it, but I just couldn't have her shivering like that. I just felt too bad for her. So I was sitting there, getting ready to start a fire. It's like 60 degrees in the house. I'm cold in the house. And I set her on the floor next to me, and she runs to the door like she wants out. She started to meow, and then she stopped. She walked around for a second and then ran underneath the bed, and she stayed there all day. Since then, she's gotten better and better at coming inside. Well, now, during the day, if it's not too cold or rainy out, she'll come outside, she'll play all day, and then as it's starting to get dark, she comes to the door, pounds on the door, we have to let her in. And so now she's got a routine. She's called us home. She's called us family, it sounds like. So we were gonna take her to the vet sometime probably before February, before she goes in heat. We suspect she'll go into heat in February. Get her shots, get everything taken care of, everything up to date. My concern was putting her in the car. You know, we'd crate her up, put her in the car, but my concern was that she'd get mad at us, and when she came back home, she'd run off. Well, now she's so friendly and relaxed. I don't think it's a big deal. We could just leave her in the house so she could recover from her surgery. Carolyn just loves this cat. I've never seen Carolyn so happy with anything. She's kind of monotone in life. I mean, I know she's happy, but she just doesn't express it a lot. This cat now crawls up on her belly when Carolyn's laying on the bed, and they lay there all night long. It's kind of neat to see. Now, the cat doesn't like me too much. She knows that I'm the food source. I feed her. I mean, that's my job. So I feed her, and when she's hungry, she comes up to me and asks for food, and I go feed her, but she doesn't want me to pet her. My guess is I stomp around a little bit more, or I'm a little bit more jittery or something, or my voice is louder. Who knows what it is. I can call her all night long out here, but Carolyn, as soon as she says, "Kitty, come on," the cat comes running back into the house. But it appears that none of us are going to be able to own pets pretty soon. So the day before yesterday, I made a video about the elitist. I can't use their name. These elitists are telling us that we're going to not own anything. You know, we can't own property, can't own a house, can't own a car. And, you know, we're going to be pretty happy about it. That's what they keep telling us. Now, I got to be careful what I say because the algorithm always gets triggered and they don't promote my videos if I don't say things correctly. So this organization, a bunch of elitists, and they call themselves elitist, they only want about 500 million humans on the planet, of course themselves, and the people who are going to take care of them. Well, they just came out and said that they want you to euthanize your pet. Now, I don't know how they're going to force this. I guess they'll do it like they do everything. They start out in the third world countries first, maybe China, Ireland, or Canada. I mean, Canada seems to be going right along with everything the World Economic Forum wants them to do. I mean, they're euthanizing humans now. I'm sure this pet thing is going to be no big deal for Canadians, and I apologize to my Canadian audience, but I'm shocked by some of the things I'm reading about Canada. There's an Olympic athlete who's in a wheelchair, but she actually competes or something, and she wanted a new wheelchair, and of course, you know, you got that free medical up there, and they said, well, it'd probably be easier if you just euthanize yourself. What? But they want us to euthanize our pets. But there was this Hollywood actress that came out and said, the best thing to do with your pet, I mean, I was stunned, is to eat your pet. Because that does two things. One, it gets rid of the pet, which is hurting the planet. And two, it feeds you, so you don't have to eat a cow. Reduces the amount of cows we have to produce. You know, this used to be a conspiracy theory. They used to try to hide what they're trying to do. And everybody was talking about it, and you're like, oh, okay, there's those crazy people. But they're openly discussing it now. The article I read was literally quoting the right-hand man of the leader of this elitist group, stating they want us to get rid of our pets. They see us as a virus on this planet. It kind of reminds me of the Matrix, when Mr. Smith, you know, the agent, he was talking to Morpheus, and he says, you are a virus or something to that effect, to this program. And he was disgusted, absolutely disgusted by Morpheus. And that's what I see with these elitists. They're disgusted by us. So if you'll click this up next box, take you to a video where I was talking about how they want to put Carolyn in a nursing home. So I hope I can inspire you to stand your ground and live free. Thanks for watching.